Are taken. What a way to have finished today for these guys. Look at the age of this. They're young champions of the future.
Ladies and gentlemen,
250 production.
Stick your seat backs up, store your table away, pulled out the shutters, and make sure your seatbelt's on. The final Superbike race for the New Zealand Superbike Championships. An incredible 15 lapper there, and somebody with his foot out there going into turn one. It was Mitch Rees going into turn. Oh, bang, bang, bang. Sloane Frost. He's won the championship now. He's going out for a win. He's played it safe the last two rounds, but bang, bang, bang. So Mitch Rees has now been relegated to fourth. That is Alistair Hugenbosom in second place. So, and Scotty Moyer, the local man, in third place. What a hectic field. We've got to mention Jaden Carrick too on the Barnes Jenkins Insurance, number 55. Didn't do the South Island rounds. Won the big races early in the day at Port Nelson there. Didn't run the last one because he had a clutch problem, but Jaden Carrick, an ex-motocrosser, an ex-600 rider who set a lap record at Timaru on the 600 some years ago, back on a superbike, courtesy of the Wanganui Well Drilling, Wanganui Toyota. He's out there on the Kawasaki as well, so action, 15-lap race. We're joined up here by Tony Rees. He doesn't have to do much again. He's obviously got someone else doing his pit board out there, so we'll get a little bit of inside knowledge to team and all that, and how Damo's doing in Australia. But right now it's superbike action. They're going round the big turn 11 here at the Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park. I see Scotty Moyer's father sitting down there in pit lane. He'll be nervous. He'll be biting his fingernails. But right now the action is all into that chicane, coming onto the almost onto the front straight, and it is Sloane Frost, 43. Alistair Hugenbosom, number 8. Scotty Moyer, was he 8 or number 4? No, he's number 8. That's where he finished last year. Number 2, Mitch Rees, and then we go back to Robbie Bugden, the letter B. Dan Metham, 34. And I think that might be Jay Lawrence, just trying to recognise the colours, just ahead of Jane Carrick there. They're pretty sure that's 37. Jay Lawrence there, right back to the front. And here comes Scotty Moyer, trying to get past, he's trying to get past Alistair Hugenbosom. Welcome, Tony Rees.
Yeah, the pressure's off Sloane now. You know, he's got the championship in the bag, and told him he wasn't allowed the trophy to December. But anyway, hey, he's doing a great job. They gave Mitch a bit of an argy-bargy because he doesn't have to worry about it now. And hey, we're going to see a really good race for Sloane, because Sloane will be out to win it. You know, he hasn't had a win for a little bit. Now Hoogie, he definitely wants to try and nab that, you know, third place in the championship. He needs that win, and ahead of, to try and get ahead of Metham.
All right, Neil Ritchie's joined us again. Superbike action.
And great to see as we look for the start at the moment. Remembering Sloane, Alistair and Scott up there. Mitch is in the run as well. Don't rule out Robbie Bugden, man. He can win the races at County. Proved that with that TT in Auckland at the Mike Farrow Real Estate Moto Fest just 2 weeks ago, when he just didn't even look like in the first race that he was going to make the podium position, and stole it by those 23 1,000ths of a second over Daniel Metham as we go for a charging run on this super lap. And it is with Sloane at the moment ahead of Al Hoogie in there, looking out for the white bike, and watch for Al. Look at that through the flip-flop. It's sensational to watch that part of the track. David Hall threw it away there in the 600. None of these guys will. As we look out, he's got the number 1 plate on there, so proving how good he is. No changes for that top 6 at the moment, exactly in that same position. Al Hoogie though the fastest, a 1:27.9 to have done that on the second lap. That is great to see. That is a hot pace going on here in the early part of the race. Sloane Frost, Alistair Hugenbosom ahead of Scott Moyer from Mitch Rees in there with Robbie Bugden, Daniel Metham in there. So great to watch. And also a shout out today to Jaden Carrick. Nice to see the Wanganui Well Drillers, Wanganui Toyota supported rider having a ride here today at National Championship level. Of course, a hero of the streets of Wanganui and other street meetings over a number of years. And nice to see him here at our National Championship level.
Okay, in terms of points, Sloane Frost has won the championship. Mitch Rees has got second. He's 30 points behind. Daniel Metham 30 points behind in third place. So if he finishes in that position, he'll retain third. It's 21 points back to Scotty Moyer there, 31 points back to Jay Lawrence, and 7 to Alistair Hugenbosom. So the main move is going to be possibly here is 6th to 5th, Alistair Hugenbosom. We go back 4 places, 4 points to Jeremy Holmes as well. Good credible showing for his first Superbike season for Connor London there on the 99 machine. Now we're near lap record time. Remember, these specifications have gone back to the Superstock. We still call them Superbikes. The lap record by Jaden Hassan is indeed 1:27.797. We're into the 27s, 27.914, and that is Alistair Hugenbosom. We'll just see what he does in this lap. We're close to lap record territory in the Superbikes. I didn't think it might happen this season because of the specifications change. No change there. Do you think there's a lap record out there?
Oh, definitely. Hey, we're in actually pretty good conditions at the moment. Like we're coming in the past in that 50 degrees plus track temperature. At the moment we're hovering around that 30, so that'll look after the tyre a little bit better as the race goes on. We're talking a 15 lap race here at minute 30, you know, minute 28 lap, you know, so a lot can happen. Like we're pretty much, I'd say most of the field we're running on like a SCX or SC0, which is a relatively soft compound. In that last sort of 3 or 4 laps, that tyre will be just about toast. So that's when I think you'll see some interesting things happen with, some of the guys have got traction control, some haven't. Like I know Mitch on the Honda, we don't run it, and whereas the Suzuki's are. So I think we're going to see typical. I hate saying it, but the tyre thing will come into play. But you'll look at Sloane Frost. He's running a good race at the moment. He's got a little bit of a gap on, but we're far from over. It's going to, I believe it's going to close up pretty close at the front there.
Expert commentary from the current New Zealand Superbike Champion, Tony Rees. Mate, you should be up there, but unfortunately injury has meant you're still healing up from that. So you're up here in the commentary box, and thank you very much. Over to you, Neil.
Yes, indeed, and awesome to have Tony with us, and we'll be doing a few more questions with Tony shortly as we look out for the update in this race. Look at that gap. See that first and second breaking clear for Sloane. This is exactly what he did when we thought that he wasn't capable of a win at the early part of the series. He'd had a shocker for the Suzuki series. He hadn't fired for the first 2 races at Ruapuna, and when it came to the GP, he went out and flew and won that one. Then he won all 3 of them at Timaru, which really was the backbone to give him the title that he's gone on to win here at the moment. So he's now put the number 1 on the Suzuki Fujitsu GSXR Red Baron Motorcycles 1000, and in incredible form here to show us his best in this final race. Then we look back to the Alistair Hugenboozem battle. Remembering, of course, Al, he was in behind Scotty for 90% of that previous race, and then he pounced and literally went past Scotty on that final lap. We've got Scotty in there for that 4th place. Then looking back to Mitch, Robbie in there for that 5th place. Just probably drifted back off them a little bit at this stage, but I'm sure Tony Rees will be one to know that you'd never give up Robbie Bugden at this stage back there in 5th place.
He's one of those Aussie battlers, isn't he? And actually, you've got to look at like you said at Hampton Downs. He came out and gave it a win at the end, but you can see it closing up there. But it only takes them to start tripping over each other at the front there, and Robbie will be back on them again. So we're, like I said before, we're far from over, but it's looking like it's closed up a little bit again at the front there. It's a bit of a seesaw battle. You only have to make a little bit of a slight mistake into a corner, and it can sort of bunch everyone up again. So. No, it's looking good. Look at those front 5 guys. They're not far apart, and we're sort of, 4 or 5 laps in.
So, quick one here, of course. You've been catching up with Damon. He's racing in Australia today. How's it gone for him?
Oh, he got relegated after qualifying yesterday, and so he's been starting mid-pack, which wasn't ideal because he would have been 5th on the grid. But anyway, he didn't. In his words, he rode like a flippin' nana in the first race. He was a little bit disappointed, but he went from 16th on the first lap to get through to 9th, and not really wanted where he wanted to be, but it's still points on the bag. We're a long way to go over there. We've only into the 2nd round of the championship. All
right, that's the update from Tony Rees about Super Sun Demon Damo, who's racing at Wakefield Park, New South Wales today for a 2nd round of the ASBK, which will be concentrating on this year. Back to the racing here for the NZSBK with Sloane Frost out in front, Alistair Hugenboozem, Scott Moyer with Mitch Rees and Robbie Bugden. They're your awesome top 5. We go back to Dan Medham. Now, we knew what Dan was capable of doing, and he proved it at the TT at Hampton Downs just 2 weeks ago for that illustrious title, but he's just back off those little boys at the moment, and they're putting on the bike battle. Any of those top 5 to do it. Robbie looking like he closes the gap, but I just get the idea that Sloane's pulling that little bit of a buffer. We saw him do this in the GP at Ruapuna in that first round back in the championship in January this year, Tony. And then just when we thought that he'd tire, or maybe the tyre would tire even more than he would tire, and he just went on from strength to strength. That guy just pulls some amazing races just out of the hat when he needs to.
Yeah, it's exactly. Like we said before, he hasn't won a race for a little bit, and he had a little bit of pressure on. He wanted to win the championship again, and that's smart, really. We all want to win races, but we also want to win the battle. Win the war. And hey, yeah, it's got nothing to lose this time. So, but you can see it. You can go out there this race, and one tyre doesn't work as good as in the. It might be the same compound, but it doesn't work as good as the last one. And I'll give it to Al. He's out there on the bridge line. He's taking it to the guys who are on Pirellis, but so we'll see a different. We'll see a different battle near the end, I'm sure. Like you can see now, all of a sudden it's closed up a little bit on Sloane, but yeah, I think we're far from over.
Absolutely far. Sorry, Whitey, yes, please.
So just interested in Jay Lawrence's performance this weekend. He smashed his bike up in the last race at Hampton Downs and damaged a frame. Suzuki New Zealand found him another frame in that, but he was out there leading races last weekend, and now he's struggling at the moment with 2, 4, 6, 7th, 8th place. And Jay, a hard man out on the track, and that had a lot of injuries over the year. I don't know whether he was carrying any injuries last weekend, but probably struggling for bike setup. Excellent parts man there. I've been preparing a couple of bikes to take to Australia this week. And between him and his father at TSS Red Baron, mate, the knowledge they've got to guide me in the right directions to get the right product for my bike has been outstanding. But Jay Lawrence having a tough weekend. He's in there behind Jaden Carrick as they come out of turn 7 into turn 8. The lead bikes have already gone off the radar off into the distance. We've got to resort to the Ctas footage there. They're now coming on that long straight. We're over a third of the way through the race. A 15 lapper. We've got 9 laps to go. So when they go across the start-finish line now, it will be 8 laps. Lapper out there, Jeff Rogerson on the 148 machine, Formula 1 machine. He holds his line. He's coming up, so he might play a part. But they've definitely concentrated up there at the lead 3 bikes.
They have indeed, and here we go. We'll look at the gap at the moment. It is at 0.7. I bet you it's going to be a lot less than that as they go across the line. In fact, let's down to 0.3. We've carved 0.4, so we've taken 60% off the advantage that Sloane Frost had. And just as he goes into turn 1, you watch him almost overshoot. He's gone out wide there, and that was a nice advantage taken in by Alistair Hoogie. Had the opportunity, had the privilege of buying one of his caps today, raising money to go to America. Nice to help these guys in some way. Of course, we've got Demon Damo in Australia. We've got Shane Richardson at Moto America, and of course this man's going to go to Moto America as well. We wish him all the best, Al Hoogie, and to have won that previous race will certainly be looking good on his CV, and hopefully he'll get some support and some sponsors behind him. But he's got the track on, and maybe the lapper. Watch for the lapper. Lappers have got all the right things to do, and that's stay in the right place as we watch it. And it's not so much what the lappers do, it's the point in the race where you come up behind a lapper, and as we look there at what Sloane's able to do, that's almost the perfect place in the middle of a straight, Tony Rees, for somebody like Sloane to go past him.
Yeah, that's right. That guy's doing his thing. You can't take it away from him. And as long as they hold their line, you can get a good one and a bad one when it comes to that sort of scenario. So you can't hold it against them. They're just out there having. We need everyone out there racing. So it's fantastic to see them out there. But you can see the battle. Like I said, it's closed up again. Mitch has actually drifted off the back a little bit there, whether he hasn't got the grip or made a couple of little mistakes. But Robbie's right on his butt. So it's going to close up really good between those two, and hopefully they maybe close up with this leading group.
I saw Mitch a couple of times coming out of turn 7. His tyre hooked up there and a sort of momentary high side. So I wonder if tyre pressure or choices may be an issue there. So maybe that's it. Tony Rees will know more about that. But right now, it's closed up at the front. 0.2 of a second. We saw 0.779. Then it was down to 0.3. Now it's 0.2 of a second. Suzuki New Zealand rider, TSS Red Baron, Sloane Frost out in the front. The New Zealand 2018 champion there. The 43 machine, the man who won the opening race of the season down at Ruapuna. Alistair Hugenbosom had a big crash and got hit in the back by a following rider. Nobody's fault, it just happened, and went off to hospital. They're still carrying injury, but back out there on the BMW, on the Bridgestone tyres as well. He's in second place. Then Scotty Moyer, the local man, former lap record holder here, in third place. Action aplenty out there. Mitch Rees is being hounded possibly by Robbie Bugden. Maybe in a couple of laps Robbie's going to reel him in. Let's look at how close we are to lap record. No, we've gone away from that. The fastest lap of 1:27.914 for Alistair Hugenbosom. The Superbike record 1:27.797, but we're up in the 28s now, up in the 28. So the lap record I don't think is within grip of anybody.
All right, so the challenge is on here at the moment for Sloane Frost to hold it. Remembering you did have a 0.7 advantaged it, but then we go to a 0.3, and now it's gone down to a 0.2, so it's got super quick. And here we are. Look at this. Maybe the pounce. Look at that from the BMW. Can he get through on the inside? No, won't be an opportunity there. But he's got to watch it, because look how close Scott Moyer got. All of a sudden, as he went out wide to then try and get the angle to come through the flip-flop and get the cut, Scott Moyer knew the opportunity, and he was right there with him at the moment. So look out for Scott Moyer. There's the old classic example of defence versus attack. All of a sudden there was some attack there ready by Al Hoogie, Tony, but all of a sudden Scotty Moyer had to go for it, and Al Hoogie then had to quickly defend it.
Yeah, what a lot of our spectators can't see here is what's so important on this track is getting onto that back straight, and it's a really technical corner because it closes up on you. You only have to get the thing a little bit sideways or do a bit of a wheelie, and you lose all your momentum. You can give away 10 kilometres down there, or at least, But you can see it's closed up. We've got a 5-bike battle now. It's going to get really exciting, but we've probably had the best out of the tyres. Believe it or not, we don't get a long life out of a lot of these tyres, so we'll probably be struggling to break the lap record from now on.
Oh, definitely. But looking at the lap times, we've got a 28.9 for Sloane Frost, 29.0 for Alistair Hugenbosom, 28.7, but a massive 28.4 for Mitch Rees. So what I said about tyre degradation being a possibility, he's about half a second quicker than anyone else, and a 28.7 from Robbie Bugden. So now Mitch Rees, while he dropped off the pace a little bit, he's right in there. We're looking at the bikes coming onto that long straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've dropped Bugden off a little bit. Here comes someone in fourth place. Mitch Rees must have got up to third. Mitch Rees got up to third. So he's past Scotty Moyer. So right now, Sloane Frost follows her. Alistair Hugenboosum on the 43 machine. Mitchell Rees, Scotty Moyer, and Bugden's now back in that mix on the Yamaha as well on the letter B.
Well, here goes Mitch Rees, and is this his opportunity to make a move? Because look at it, he's going to have a go on turn one, up on the inside. Yeah, look at that from Mitchell. Mitch Rees, dynamic. He's overtaken two riders in the last three corners. Fantastic to watch. Now he's going on attack. Look out, because Sloane Frost, you've got a challenge on your hand. Remembering, of course, that we've had two different winners so far in the two races. Mitch yesterday, and then, of course, a win here today with Al Hergy. So the man in front at the moment has not had a win. Scott Moyer's not had a win, and I predicted he'd take three of them away this weekend. So there you go, the man on his home track finding it a struggle, but the big mover has definitely been Mitch Rees in this one, and we saw it before. Spider picked it up and watching his times that he got faster in that group, and he's made the move to go with it. So with Tony, his father, sitting right here with us, what do you put it down to? Has this been a planned execution at the moment, or is he wearing the tyre better than the others? What do you think, Tony?
I think he's done more motocross lately than the rest of them. No, you know, he's probably sliding around a bit more. I talked about traction control, boy. Like if they've got traction control on and their tyres going off, they start actually losing a little bit of momentum from that, whereas if you're not and you're controlling it with your hands, sometimes it's actually not a bad thing, you know. And yeah, he's obviously woken up, you could say.
And great to watch a spectacular race in this. I hope to see everybody getting on their feet together. He's going to have another pounce. He's going to have another pounce maybe on the outside to go inside of this top. No, can't quite get away with it. But I'll tell you what, on this occasion, Sloane Frost knows he's right there with him as well at the moment. He acknowledged his excellence last time, and it was delightful as well that he acknowledged your excellence as well, Tony. What a great sport you were to go up to Sloane to be one of the first to congratulate him on taking his tyre after the controversy of last year. But the little bit of humour that Tony whipped him before, of course, he wasn't the New Zealand title holder till December. So he's just asking Sloane, can we just hold on to it for a fraction longer, get some benefit other than just a mere 3 months? But that's the humour of a situation that's been made very light-hearted, and after all, what's a very good sport, and we can't let any rivalry go on for too long, so we'll put it back on the racetrack and watch what's going to unfold here, because maybe it's Tony's son Mitch that has the final say in this battle for the final race of this year's championship, coming down to the wire, all five of them there with a chance. But it looks to me like Mitch Rees is the one that's doing all the work and all the movement, putting all the pressure on. So Sloane Frost, look out, the man is coming in behind him.
Here we go. He creeps right up on the side of Sloane Frost, tucks up on the inside. So Mitch Rees won the red flag race yesterday. That's a win in New Zealand Superbike Championship history, but it's always nice to go to the checkered flag rather than be relegated through a lap. So up to the top corner, Mitchell Rees on the number 6 machine in the front. This is where he finished on the last championship. Oh no, it was Sloane Frost there.
He slid through that corner beautifully. Did you see the buffer he pulled out? We had the privilege of seeing it on the Ctas live, and he had an even bigger buffer. You look at the buffer. Look at the lead that he's got at the moment. He takes it out. Remembering this time he was back in second place a lap ago. Remembering 2 laps ago he was back in fourth at this point. So this is incredible to watch. What a race unfolds for Mitch Rees, the young dynamic 26-year-old from Whakatane on the Tony Rees motorcycles. Only 25. Sorry, I'm out by you. Courtesy of Mondale and some fantastic new sponsors. Mondale Logistics getting it behind them. They're a world global logistics company here in New Zealand. Carl Cox Motorsport, Honda, of course, and special welcome to the Honda support crew that's joined us here today. Mum and Dad who put so much in Demo, is he sitting at trackside? Could he be listening or watching us at the moment before his next race? What have you heard?
Yeah, he's about 15 minutes away from going out now, so yeah, I bet you he's trying to watch this. Yesterday he's having a bit of trouble getting a clear footage, but yeah, hopefully he's managing to watch this. Might pump him up a little bit actually, so he doesn't ride like that now.
There we go.
Mate, Mitch Rees nearly a second quicker in the last lap, at 28.6, 29.5 and 29.0, but he was nearly a second quicker than the second man, Sloane Frost, so he's opening it up now. And now Robbie Bugden's right on that pack as well. He's been hunting around that for a long, long time. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bikes out there. We've got 4 different brands here. We've got the Honda out in the front, we've got the BMW, Suzuki, then the BMW, another Suzuki, and Yamaha. So
all those... Spider, 1.5 seconds from first to fifth.
Yeah, incredible racing. That's what we've expected out in the Superbikes. Let's go further down the field. We go back to 6th place. Daniel Medham on the 34 machine. Jay Lawrence has gone ahead of Jeremy Holmes, Connor London, David Sharp on the Aprilia, Rob Whittle on the Aprilia, Jeff Rogerson on the Ducati 848. Looks like Jaden Carrick's out as well. Somewhere along the line we've just Jaden Carrick at lap 4, so 3 laps to go. In fact, it'll be 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. Mitch has got this one sorted. He's clear in the front. So all these other guys will be slowing each other down. Oh, mate, it's incredible racing.
Oh, what a spectacular view as we look from up here. If those of you saw it going down into turn one, the slide that he controlled was absolutely brilliant. Of course, he had the lead in that first race last Sunday last Sunday round at Hampton Downs before losing it and tucking the front end. But when you're controlling the back as beautiful as it is at the moment, you don't have to worry about the front end. It's doing everything that you want. And Tony, believe it or not, he's increasing the advantage. How's he doing this?
Yeah, he's obviously got got a bit of mojo going, got that tyre working really well. Actually, before this race, he wanted to bleed the rear brake, and hey, we normally don't use the rear brake. He says, "What do you want to bleed that for?" And he goes, "Because I want to use it." So it looked like he used it into turn one then. So keep it together, Mitch.
Keeping it together, Mitch, he certainly is at the moment, absolutely dynamic, and Spider's keeping an eye on the times and the results and the placings and the lap records, because as you've rightfully pointed out now, our Superbikes is effectively where Supersport was last year, so we've shattered those kind of times, and we're right on the doorstep, nudging Superbike times that we've had in the past, showing us, the calibre of these bikes and the riders and the tyre technology, the likes of Pirelli. Now, remembering, of course, with Pirelli, team Tony Rees Motorcycles have moved to Pirelli in the last few years, so they're seeing the benefits of the world's #1 advanced tyre.
There goes Alistair Hugenbosom into second place, under braking off that long straight. Sorry, Neil Ritchie. Mitch Rees still got it in the bag in the front, but Alistair Hugenbosom on the 43, the BMW M1 Motorsport Valvoline sponsor machine. I know Jossie Mason, long-time supporter, was hoping to get there. She'll be watching on Ctas going whoop whoop with her boys, but right, he's into second place. That puts Sloane back into third, and in behind Sloane is Scotty Moyer and Robbie Bugden, though. So it's anybody's guess here who the podium is there as we see the white flag out. We've got about 12 corners left, 10 corners left. That's an official call for the next class. That's what we have to do here. So back onto the track there, Neil Ritchie.
Indeed, and great to watch, because we're on to our final lap and it's making a real difference at the moment. But look at this from Mitch Rees. What an incredible race. Here we go. Looking out for the bike battle. Remembering we won't even know who 4th and 5th were at the end of this one. We'll remember the top 3. We know who the #1 is unless he loses it. That's the duper and dynamic Mitch Rees. We want to see the Bruce McCarran Motorsport Park get on your feet today, ladies and gentlemen, for this outstanding young man who achieves the greatest. He'd only won his first ever Superbike race here yesterday, and now looks to do it again, and this will give him the overall victory for the weekend and cement his second place in New Zealand in his debut season, full season in Superbikes. He only joined us last year for the first time, so great to watch as he hugs the advantage. But the fight going on behind him, still there with Hoogie, still there with Sloane. So for Scott and Robbie, it'll be a little bit of a big cut. But there you go for the checkered flag and a beautiful wheelie. Look at that, Mitch Rees. There we go, another wheelie across there for Alistair Hugenbosom, checking out Sloane Frost along with the Robbie Bugden. But Robbie Scott, I'd missed that one. I'd missed that. So you guys had seen that he'd made the move, but I'd seen where I thought, in fact, it had gone back the other way. I saw the nose went in front, and I thought when I looked that we'd seen it go back the other way. So Scott forced back into 5th place in the end. Those 5 absolutely dynamic as we watch Daniel Medham come through. He's a little bit behind the other boys. Remembering this guy on his home track at Hampton Downs, he was right up there with Robbie Bugden. So reverse all that around. The guy that was in 6th place and 4th place with the numbers 2 and 1 just a few weeks ago. Have we really seen something change here in New Zealand now, Tony, with our tracks? Because Hampton Downs and now here with Taupo, we've seen it with other classes as well. They've been radically different, haven't they, with their outcome of results? Like a Jake Lewis performance, doesn't make the podium at one track, but he's there as #1 at the other. Are we seeing it now, or is it horses for courses?
What I think we're seeing is that we're seeing some really close battles with all of those classes, and we're not seeing the same winner all the time, which is fantastic. Look at the different